So now moving on to a story that's going to affect all of us, especially independent media. And I covered this story 2 days ago, and it has to deal with Tulsi Gabbard's $5 million Google lawsuit.
50.
Or 50.
50 mil.
50 million. Thank you. $50 million lawsuit against Google. And now, why is this important? Well, Representative Tulsi Gabbard and her campaign are filing this lawsuit because Google, at least as it states, their algorithm was basically halting and denying ad revenue for Tulsi Gabbard's campaign, specifically after the first Democratic primary debate, when Tulsi Gabbard became the most searched candidate after that debate night, which is fantastic because if you listen to corporate media, they were saying that Kamala Harris, Biden, Elizabeth Warren were the most searched. Well, after that night, it was Tulsi Gabbard. And since then, her campaign is starting to gain a lot of momentum. She's getting close to 130,000 individual donors to where she could secure herself on the third debate stage. And the thing is, what's happening right now, at least as a statement from Google, we are proud to offer ad products that help campaigns connect directly with voters, and we do so without bias towards any party or political ideology. The company has offered up similar defenses to conservative charges against censorship, but also it's important to note as well that the thing is that there was an algorithm put in place, and when the Tulsi Gabbard campaign sent out emails to question the very concept of why their ads were being halted by Google, they didn't really get an appropriate response back. And so it's been talked about on a lot of independent channels that if this lawsuit fully goes through and there's a discovery made about Google intentionally having a messed up algorithmic system, which they do, systematically this algorithm went after a Democratic presidential candidate. And that should concern all of us because how is this algorithm set up, and why is it set up to basically deny speech to certain individuals? But also this impacts independent media. For example, this article goes on to further explain, independent YouTube content creators like Kyle Kalinske, David Pakman, as well as numerous other YouTube.
Like us.
Yeah, or like us too. We are also impacted by this algorithm because it could stop people from searching our content or similar related content. And most notably, in one of our chats, or not one of our chats, but one of the videos that we, in the comment section, there was someone who said, when I type up your interview, I'm seeing so much other recommendations from MSNBC or CNN when I want to see independent media. So there's an algorithm set up to favor corporate media, or at least either that, corporate candidates. But if you want to find out something about progressive candidates, progressive media, independent candidates, there's a system put up in place to stop that search from being found unless you know about it or you subscribe to said channel or you're following that said politician on social media, because the future is social media. You just can't use traditional television, radio, or landline phones anymore, as much as corporate media wants to continue that narrative. But the very fact that you have a presidential candidate like Representative Tulsi Gabbard following this lawsuit, she actually has weight and support. The evidence, they've done at least take a couple of photos, screenshots of their communication with Google. And just a side note, Google owns YouTube, and we're part of that algorithmic system as well. And so I want to open this floor up to you guys. I mean, yeah, we could talk about how Tulsi Gabbard, is making a historic movement or making a historic lawsuit against Google, which is a major tech firm here in this country. The very fact that she is able to win would be historic in its own right. So, but what is the long-term impact? I want to bring this floor to you guys. Daniel.
So I'll just speak because I do the editing on much of the posting for Hard Lens, and I'll say a couple things. We've had to make a lot of changes behind the scenes to try and stay ahead of the algorithm. As an example, if we do a video on Tulsi, it's about a coin flip chance that it's just going to get completely ad limited all the way through. So if we do a video on Tulsi, we do them because you guys like hearing about Tulsi.
Or AOC or Bernie Sanders.
No, not
specifically Tulsi, though.
Yeah, but specifically Tulsi. That is true.
We know you guys like doing when we do videos because not a lot of people cover her, and there's always some smear that it's like I feel like we're forced to debunk stuff because the news media can't be helped to do their own work. But behind the scenes, like half the videos that are demonetized in the last month are Tulsi Gabbard videos, so that's one thing. Second, I know I saw on TYT they had a discussion about whether or not Tulsi had a good lawsuit. Anna's point of view was no, she doesn't. She needs to stop calling out Google. And Cenk, I think, made a really good point that I think may be the best way to describe it, which is The point is not whether or not there is an active person on Google going like, okay, I'm going to stop her campaign right now. That's besides the point. The point is that a presidential candidate had a positive night and her account was shut down because she put in money that the algorithm didn't expect.
Yep.
And a presidential candidate shouldn't have that on there, and that's not right. That's not how things work. That's not how they should work in a campaign. And it did cost her publicity. You have Congress mad at Google, and another important thing, Google apparently is now the biggest lobbying firm on the Hill.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you have that. So they're getting it, which is, why Facebook is still getting hit. They're not getting as many lobbyists. But back to Hard Lens, like the way that we used to tag videos, we had to stop tagging them the way that we were, because we would put a lot of, like, a group of tags together that we would have as our default, and using those would just get our videos, like half of our videos were demonetized. And the second we pulled back a bunch of those tags and just basically left it with the tag HLM, Hard Lens Media in Chicago, all of a sudden a lot more of our videos are not getting demonetized. Another thing about being demonetized or being ad limited, when I say demonetized, I'm really meaning ad limited. We don't get demonetized because we don't put videos of other people's for the most part. Ad limited doesn't just mean we learn less money. I mean, it's like, fine, I'm happy with that. It's that because Google as a business doesn't earn as much money, they just don't promote the video as much because it's not worth it to them to make money that they're not going to make on an ad-limited video. So
I gotta read some out. Brandon Adams, somebody who we interviewed, progressive alderman from Jacksonville, Illinois. Google owns everything and is a subsidiary owned by Alphabet, which in itself is a subsidiary of 24 Holdings
26.
Inc. 26 Holdings Incorporated. Hashtag end the corruption. Paul, got to hand it to you.
Yeah, I wanted to mention Michael Kuiper says you need to check out Fairtube. They're forming a union for YouTubers. Yeah, there's a YouTube channel called Coffee Break that somewhat recently did an interesting data-driven breakdown. What he did is he found... He took an algorithm that someone else had made to scrape YouTube's trending page every day for 6 months, I believe, and had a huge data set where he broke down what videos ended up on trending, how many views they had when they ended up on trending, and he noted specifically under the news and politics category, 95% of the videos that end up in trending come from established traditional sources, and the number of views it took to get them on trending was dwarfed. So one of the only people in independent news and politics to get on there was Philip DeFranco, and he ended up on trending after getting, like, I forget what it was, but it was in the hundreds of thousands of views in like a 2-day period got him on trending. And things like the Associated Press will get on trending with like 700 views over a week period, and it's like, that's not fair.
I remember
your
when
algorithm
YouTube,
is not accurately showing what's trending. You are giving deference to traditional entrenched media sources.
Yeah, I remember when YouTube would put up independent content creators for trending. That's how old I am. I mean, gee, I'm even using YouTube trending from when I first got out of the Marine Corps in 2008. I remember that, and I like seeing those content creators, and I'm pretty sure all of you like seeing it. Look, I don't watch TV anymore. I don't care about Jimmy Fallon's show. I don't care about something on ABC or CBS or Fox or anything else. Like, I stopped watching television. And I'm pretty sure all of you have stopped watching television, because if you turn on the TV, you're just going to watch crap. That's it. Sorry to break it to you. I mean, granted, there might be one TV show. I don't know. Anyone know anything good on TV?
Hard Lens Media.
Well, no. Unless we're being played on your TV by your computer. Then we're awesome.
Yeah.
Then we're on your TV.
So I think that there's a couple other things on this. And another thing that we had gone through, and if you were with us earlier in the spring, you saw this. There was a 2-month period where we were getting like 60 subscribers per day. And then there was an adpocalypse or a crackdown on new media, and over a month we dropped to like, maybe we'll get 3 to 5 new subscribers
Turned
a
off
day.
like a faucet.
It turned off exactly like a faucet. So as far as I'm concerned, that 2-month period was the rate that we would normally be growing at. If we followed that, we would already be at like 12 or 15,000 subscribers. But we're not anymore. If you look at our Social Blade page, you can see very clearly this huge ramp up and then this dip that just got knocked down because of it. So where did those views go? And I gotta give it to David Pakman. Did a lot of good videos. I'm not a fan of a lot of the stuff he does, but when he does a good job, I'm not gonna be biased about it. He has been able to show exactly the same thing, that about that same time it just crashed. He lost like 90% of his suggested videos, but the biggest thing he showed was that it used to be that 50% of the suggested videos would go to corporate media and about 50% would go to independent media, which, is a couple hundred channels versus like half a dozen. And now it's like 75%, 25%. And there's another angle to this that I think we don't want to miss out on, which is that a lot of this is corporate media's fault. Because what happens? I love systems.
We have to move on to another story because we're kind of getting past.
Okay,
Yeah.
very, very, very quick. Very, very quick. What'll happen is corporate media will find something nefarious. Like, remember when all of a sudden PewDiePie's a Nazi? Remember when that all happened? Corporate media takes a hold of it. Wall Street Journal goes to Disney and says, Disney, do you really want to advertise on YouTube? This is what you're being compared to. Marketers, very skittish people, pull out. YouTube loses millions and millions, billions of dollars from that pullout. So YouTube says, okay, we'll fix it. We'll put a new algorithm. They don't have the right algorithm in place. So that just keeps happening. And eventually YouTube goes, I can't handle this. It's too expensive for us to maintain this media source because we keep getting hit from it by the news, which is directly competing with what we do. This isn't just about YouTube. It is about YouTube. It is about Google. It's everything that we've said. But it's also about bigger companies trying to snuff out their competition. So remember that.
Yeah. And so the thing is, I want Tulsi Gabbard to succeed in this lawsuit because who knows what will be discovered in this. Because
the discovery is going to be important as hell.
and it really, I mean, whatever your opinions on Representative Tulsi Gabbard, if her campaign is successful to take on a tech giant like Google, and we find out really what their algorithm is like, I think we could solve the problems that are impacting a lot of independent content creators and progressive candidates that are trying to get their message out.